Hey, California, where's those babies? Where's the babies? I want to thank one of my subscribers, JG, for this article. And, over the last few days, I have seen the stories coming out about the population drop in California. And now here's this article, one of many I've seen. So, yeah, it's definitely one of those issues that California is really putting out there now. So, where are the babies? This came out in the sacb.com. California sees slowest population growth since it started counting. So, this is May 1st, 2019. California last year saw its slowest population growth in recorded history, according to a Department of Finance report published Wednesday. Dwindling immigration, a significant decline in births, and an aging baby boomer population contributed to the low annual population growth of 0.47%. Wow, that is low. Not even 1%. Woo, said Tina Daly, chief of demographic research for the department. Housing costs could be the partly to blame. Yeah, I would say that is a huge problem when it comes down to California is housing. Absolutely. I agree with that. Dowell Mayer, professor of policy planning and demography at the USC, the college everybody's trying to cheat their way into, and young families are delaying having kids or outright moving because of the state's expensive housing. Well, that's a problem, California, which means, I think they got themselves in a big problem. Number one, housing is probably the number one reason why California is not drawing a lot of people. And number two, the state has probably become so expensive. If they lower housing, it would be a major loss for the state. So they're kind of in, between a rock and a hard place on this one. There's a migration outflow, and young people are the most mobile, Meyer said. They face incredible pressure from 25 to 35. They've completed their education and started their jobs and are trying to start families. The pressure is on to do everything in a short window of time. And by the way, they need housing. Mayors said more and more couples rely on both partners being in the workforce so they can afford to buy a house and start a family. He also noted that students are being saddled with college debt, which prevent them from having enough money to put down on a home. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. America set up a system that it's going to fail. Their financial system, it's barely hanging on now. If they would have set up a system keeping the people in mind and making things affordable, I think it would have been a better place. But what ultimately happened is being in certain states in the US, it's not worth your time or money. It's too expensive. You can't afford to live there. And that being said, you're not going to draw in a lot of people, and you got every damn thing in the state overpriced. New Jersey also has that problem. They lose more people leaving than coming into the state. It's too expensive. It costs too much damn money. And it's all done out of greed. It's one thing if you're doing it and you're improving everything in the state, it's done out of greed. It's not sustainable, y'all. I mean, if people don't start going in there and buying up the housing, what's going to happen to California? Are they going to declare bankruptcy? Well, we shall see. Okay. As a result, California couples are having kids later in life than previous generations. All of these factors are contributing to a greater age imbalance across the state. Actually, that's going on across the country with more baby boomers and fewer young and middle aged adults. California top heavy in the ratio of people over 65 to prime working age, 25 to 44. So California has a large population of older people, and the younger people, they are, a much smaller demographic. It used to be a pretty steady about 21 seniors for every 100 working age people, Myers said. That was constant from 1970 to 2010. Then in 2011, the first baby boomer turned 65. Since then, the ratio has been rising. It's going up from 21 to 35 in just 11 more years. That's almost double. Public Policy Institute of California wrote in 2015 report that the state's senior population will nearly double by 2030. California has long been a net exporter of residents to other states. Its population usually climbs because of births and foreign immigration. The Department of Finance found there were 18,000 fewer babies born in California in 2018 than the previous year. Wow, 18,000, that's pretty significant, y'all. It really is. It also reported a shift in where immigrants come from. Fewer Mexicans are coming to California, while more people from Asian countries are entering the state, according to Daly. Daly said an overall decline in immigration could spell trouble ahead of the 2020 census if other states are growing faster. Those immigrants already come here broke. California is a very expensive place to live. Why would they settle there when there's so many other places that are way more affordable? That's why you're losing them. Census numbers determine which state gains seats in Congress and which states lose representatives. If it turns out California is dropping by more, that could result in less representation in Congress, Daly said. Yeah, now you know what they're worried about. See, these folks that always frown upon us using the government for anything, they use the government way more than we do. So less representation, less goodies for us. The Supreme Court is expected to rule soon whether the administration can add the question to the census. If it does so, California leaders worry the state could face an uphill battle getting an accurate count. The state and the immigration advocacy groups, which need to convince millions of residents that it's safe for them to disclose their immigration status. It's important to have a complete and accurate count of every Californian. And the 2020 census said a statement from Dita Katigue, Director of California Complete Count, Census 2020. We're investing heavy in our census outreach and engagement efforts in order to ensure every person statewide is counted. Wow. A lot of people don't want to be included in the census because they fear deportation. So these numbers are never truly going to be accurate. There are some people that simply don't want to be counted. But, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me what you think. This is something that's happening across the country, but I can certainly understand the more expensive states like California to live, where they are losing a big portion of their population because, like they said in the article, because of housing. If you can't afford the housing, why would you bring children into that kind of situation and you're struggling like that? But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.